evening. I'm Alice Gaynor.
And I'm Dick Brennan. Welcome to the news at 9. After ripping through the Caribbean, Hurricane Matthew is taking aim at the east coast of Florida. Last-minute
preparations and evacuations are underway all across the state. The storm is already responsible for at least 16 deaths across the Caribbean. Matthew also left a path of destruction, flattening dozens of homes in Cuba and Haiti.
We have live team coverage. Let's begin with Lonnie Quinn in the Weather Center. Lonnie, what is the latest advisory?
Okay, I've got the 8 o'clock numbers for you, but I want to start off here with a satellite image of what the storm looks like. Look, it's nearly 400 miles wide. A big, bruising storm. Hasn't been something like this to approach Florida since like 2004. If you can zoom in tight, here we go. You can see the eye right there, then you see the eye sort of disappear, right? Look, winds are down a little bit as well. What's happening here, you're going through an eye wall replacement cycle. I believe tomorrow, when we look at this same satellite image, it's going to look more like that donut that you expect to see for a hurricane. In fact, I think when you go through an eye wall replacement cycle, a lot of times the eye actually gets wider. So I think you'll see a bigger donut hole in the middle of that donut. Let me show you the 8 o'clock numbers. All right, as of 8 o'clock, 115 mile per hour winds, so they're down by 5 miles per hour from the 5 p.m. numbers. Moving to the northwest at 12 miles per hour right now, 170 miles to the southeast of Nassau. Now, Nassau is right there. That little island, okay, right above the A, the first A in Bahamas, and it's moving directly in that direction. And the larger island, Andros Island, I believe, it's not the most populated island. It's that little one. Nassau is the one that's just got the majority of the people living on it. And this has the track right now from the National Hurricane Center has it going basically right over Nassau as, okay, it's Cat 3 right now. They think it'll bump up to a Cat 4 somewhere around Nassau. And then it really just sort of mirrors the southeast coastline, all across the coastline of Florida, then across the coastline of Georgia, and mirroring the coastline of South Carolina, somewhere around North Carolina. We think it'll go out to sea, maybe even start to hook a little bit to the south. But notice, this is a pretty big change from what you were looking at yesterday. Now our area, not even in the cone. We don't quite let our guard down. We keep our eye on this thing because things can change. Remember, 2 days ago, only a little sliver of Florida was in the cone. Now we think we have the skinny red line going right over places like Cape Canaveral or the Melbourne area. So we watch this, and remember, you do not have to have a landfall to catch the worst out of the storm because the hurricane force wind field is 90 miles wide. It could be 50 miles offshore. You've got 40 miles inland of hurricane force winds, and we think 200 miles of the east coast of Florida could have a landfall anywhere in there. We're going to talk more about this and how it could possibly be affecting our area, if it affects it at all, a little bit later. Dick and Alice, let's go over to you.
All right, Lonnie, thanks very much. Well, Florida is already under a state of emergency. TV 1055's Don Champion is live in Daytona Beach with preparations there. How's it looking, Don?
Yeah, good evening, Dick. Already tonight we've been seeing unrelated off and on showers here in this area. Within the past hour, we did learn that in Florida alone, more than 1.5 million people have been told to leave their homes. For the most part, people appear to be taking the storm seriously. People along the East Coast are being warned Hurricane Matthew could be devastating.
The screens around the porches, hurricane screens, so we'll be prepared for it.
Florida's governor issued mandatory evacuations for barrier islands.
This is a dangerous storm. It is never too early to evacuate. If you live in a low-line area, if you live on a barrier island, or if your area is prone to flooding, get out. Don't wait for an order. Get out now.
Wednesday, drivers waited in lines to fill up at gas stations while supplies flew off shelves. Tourists are also preparing. The LaFrance family is cutting their vacation short and heading back to Canada.
I think we should get out just in case it is Category 4, but everyone's telling us, yes, we should start heading home.
In South Carolina, Interstate 26 was packed with drivers racing to get out of the storm's path. This weekend, it could hit as a Category 2 or 3 storm.
Our goal is to make sure that no lives are lost, that people get moved out safely, and that they get moved back safely.
Ahead of the storm, federal emergency officials pre-positioned supplies to respond to the disaster. Now, one of the big concerns moving forward will be a long-duration power outages. One estimate said that about 7 million people from Florida to the Carolinas could lose service in the coming days. One of the reasons for that is the fact that hurricane conditions could reach further inland, even in cities like Orlando. Tonight, Dick and Alice, we are told that some weather models show that not too far away from where I'm standing, waves of more than 20 feet high could start battering the shore. Hard to believe.
All right, Don, will you be very safe down there? Don Champion reporting live. Well, coming up later in the broadcast, Lonnie Quinn will have more on Hurricane Matthew and how the storm could potentially impact our area. Alice.